So my name is Uwe Balthasar, and I'm the admissions tutor for Earth Science degrees here at the University of Plymouth. And I'll have this nice backdrop here, which is a drone image hovering just over our university, looking out to the sea, because it shows various things that I want to address in the duration of the talk. And I really want to address why to study earth sciences at the University of Plymouth. So what do we really excel at here? We can prize ourselves to be really enthusiastic and engaged in teaching. We provide a very personalized student support, particularly with respect to career planning, and we excel at fieldwork. And I will go into much more detail in these various points over the next 12 or 13 minutes or so. And finally, I will also talk about our degree programs and that we have quite a range of combinations possible and that we're quite flexible within them. Now, what we excel at, I said teaching. We're very enthusiastic and engaged, and that is reflected in our feedback that we get. We range for up to 100% of overall course satisfaction. And if you look at other sources where we find student feedback specifically about our courses and lecturers, we score about 4.5 out of 5, which is based on more than 25 reviews. Also, we, being the whole faculty in university, have a TEF Silver award. That's a teaching excellence framework from the government, which reflects on the quality of overall teaching that is provided at the university. And of course, teaching is delivered by people, by staff, and it has been mentioned various times before that people are really the essence of what we do. And our geology staff, earth science staff, is composed of 17 academic staff, research active staff with excellent field experience. And most of us are really internationally leading and widely recognized. And of course, we're supported by a very experienced technical staff as well. All the main geological disciplines are represented. If you want to learn about volcanoes, earthquakes, paleontology, seismology, sedimentology, all of these key areas are represented. Another thing I said, I want to say a few more things about the student body, of course. So currently we have about 190 undergraduate students across all of our years studying earth sciences. Currently, 10 of those are non-EU international students and 8 are EU students. If we look over the last 5 years, we had 17 international non-EU students that come from quite a range of backgrounds from North America and the Caribbean, various African nations, Asia, and the Middle East. So we do have an experience over the last 5 years in teaching and engaging with a whole range of international students from very different backgrounds. Another thing we excel at is really personalized student support. It has been mentioned by a few of my colleagues, and that's true across the faculty, that we have designated personal tutors for our undergraduate students throughout the degree program. So any student starting at the University of Plymouth will get a personal tutor who is, and that's a very important distinction, an academic member of staff. You might find personal tutorials at probably all UK universities, but it's not normal, it's not common that it's really an academic member of staff who does this job throughout the degree program. So we start off when students arrive at university, they're of course new, they don't know many people, so it's quite challenging for them. And we take them in weekly meetings and small group tutorials aimed at getting them settled in, getting oriented, what needs to be done and so forth, but also making friends with their peers. And also we have the peer-assisted learning scheme, or PALS, which is experienced undergraduate students who are being trained to help first-year students, help them get settled and oriented. So we have really a broad range of support structures in place for first-year students, and particularly for international students. We are quite aware of their distinct needs that are maybe different in many ways from local British students. In the second and third year, our support in tutorials is slightly different in that we move on from group tutorials to individual tutorials, and particularly in the final year, it will be the dissertation supervisor. And moving on from that, I want to point out our support with career planning. And these personal tutorials, second and third year in particular, are really focusing more and more on career development. And there will be conversations to be had about writing applications, writing CVs, thinking about what the student wants to do with their career once leaving the university, and encouraging them to take the right decisions and do the right steps. As part of that, they will be encouraged to participate in industrial placements. They can be up to a year, and our degree programs are structured in such a way that this can be easily accommodated and is regularly done by students each year. Furthermore, we have one of the longest running and largest sector-specific careers fair. So running for 20 years now, and last year we had 45 exhibitors from across the UK. Those are companies and earth science specific organizations that come to Plymouth to talk to our students, and they've been doing it for 20 years. So they really appreciate our students, and they come here to find students to work for them. And many of our placement students find their placement opportunities at these events. And also many of the conversations to be had there will end up in eventual jobs at these companies. Here's just a snapshot from the last event, and you can see a very busy, buzzy event where people mingle. The next thing I want to mention is fieldwork. And of course, earth sciences, as many of the other degree programs mentioned so far, fieldwork is essential. And in Plymouth, we are really blessed in that we can do fieldwork very locally. So here are a few arrows. Obviously, some of these are very much in walking distance, and the other further far arrows are maybe a short, very short bus ride, or we can reach them with public transport. So if you want to study combine earth sciences with marine sciences, you might even do fieldwork on a boat, as marine science colleagues mentioned early on. So fieldwork is not just convenient and local, it's also really world-class. When I say world-class, I mean recognized world-class. So we are in the unusual position that we are right next to two World Heritage Sites that are based on their geological heritage. We have the Cornwall and West Devon mining landscape, and we have the Dorset and East Devon coast, the Jurassic coast. So the picture here is taken from the UNESCO World Heritage Site list, and it's a bit misleading in that the two dots are indicated as little dots because they're not. So here's the Cornish Mining World Heritage Site, and you can see it's composed of many different sites based on the mining heritage and underlying geology. And Plymouth, based in the right-hand side of the map here, is the closest sites are about 20 minutes away up towards Tavistock. Down towards the west, we can drive for 2 hours. And we're really at our doorstep, have fantastic world-recognized geology. Similar with the Jurassic coast, so it's to the east of us, and it's not just one little outcrop. It's the entire coast along there from about Exeter eastwards, recognized for its geological and earth history heritage. And these sites are sites that are visited by all sorts of European universities. And from Plymouth, we can just drive there on a day trip. And that is really a luxury we have. Of course, we do field work well beyond these particular sites. So we do field work abroad as well. But particularly for the first year student education, it's very, very good to have sites so close by. The second year, we take students to Spain, and in their final year, they can choose various projects across Europe and in the UK. So we have students in the past go to do their independent fieldwork in Norway, for example, or in Spain or France, or at various sites in the UK. So let's talk a little bit more about the degree programs. So you've heard about various different areas already. You heard about marine sciences, you heard about geography. You will hear more about environmental sciences. And all of these overlap to some degree. And in our earth science portfolio of programs, we can combine these different aspects. Of course, you can study a traditional geology degree, which is a core of earth sciences with added value of all sorts of details. You can combine it with environmental science as a new degree program that we're starting in the next year. And that's the BSc in Environmental Geoscience. We can combine it with geography for the Physical Geography and Geology degree, or with marine sciences for the Geology and Ocean Science degree. So it's really covering all a broad range of interests and a broad range of skills that are represented in these degree programs. And because all of these degree programs share the same core, an essential core of earth science modules, it's actually fairly straightforward to move around between them, at least within the first term or so. So if a student starts studying one of these degree programs and thinks, oh, I'm more interested perhaps in something else, within the first term, it's normally no problem to change around. So we're quite flexible within this. So in addition to these three bachelor programs, we also have an integrated master program, the MJOL, which can be studied from the first year onwards, but essentially the fourth year is the research-focused year. And any student studying one of our bachelor programs, if they want to, after their third year, they can progress into that MJOL final year and do an additional, more research-focused year. So this is our integrated master's program. And also, I want to point out that all of our programs are accredited by the Geological Society of London, which is the main professional body for earth science areas, really, in the UK. And it's the one of the oldest learned societies in the UK and Europe. So the BSc Environmental Geoscience is a new program, and the accreditation process will start soon so that it's in place for the first cohort to graduate from this. We also have a foundation year program, and a foundation year program is really, really useful for students who want to study any of our programs, but who might come with slightly unusual background or a combination of subjects and might need to brush up on some of their basic science background. And it's really designed to empower students to be able to study any of the other subjects that we offer. So if a student is really keen to do this, then it's really a good choice. And we had a number of international students coming through this route over the years.